Sandra, thanks so much for doing the interview with me. You are a scientific officer at the European Cooperative Program for Plant Genetic Resources, ECPGR.
Yes.
What does the ECPGR exactly do?
Well, thanks, Marcel, for having me. And the ECPGR is a collaborative program of European countries, and our current 35 member states work together on improving conservation and sustainable use of plant genetic resources in Europe. We work through crop-specific and thematic working groups, where we bring together crop or genetic resources specialists that bring their expertise to work together on conservation and research projects. And we maintain a European database on plant genetic resources. That's the Eurisco catalog, in which we document more than 2 million plant accessions maintained in European gene banks and with their passport data and to a certain extent also characterization data. Since 2020, we've been publishing an open access journal called Genetic Resources. This we do together with the European Regional Focal Point for Animal Genetic Resources, ERFP. This journal provides a platform for our stakeholders to publish their research results, but also tools and reports that are of relevance for their work. We manage a project on crop wild relatives, where we improve work on improving our knowledge and documentation, also using the Eurisco database. And most importantly, for my presence here at the Euroseeds Congress, I'm managing a European evaluation network where we have public-private partnerships that work together on evaluating underused genetic resources in European gene banks to make them accessible to breeders.
Fantastic. It sounds like very important work because breeders need access to plant genetic resources, obviously. How long is the ECPGR already in operation?
Oh, since 1980. So more than 40 years.
Wow, that's a long time. Can you share some achievements of your organization?
Well, I already mentioned some of our main products, and we've been really busy in the last few years. In 2021, we published this plant genetic resources strategy for Europe, and this identifies gaps in plant genetic resources conservation in Europe, as well as identifying necessary actions and step changes that we need to ensure we maintain our genetic resources in Europe, while also promoting sustainable use and facilitating access to them. Very recently, we've started, or we will be starting to collaborate in a Horizon Europe project called ProGrace, which aims at creating a European research infrastructure for genetic resources. So again, working on improving documentation and characterization and evaluation tools and making those accessible to researchers and breeders and the community. And we have, with the current crisis in the Ukraine, we've also been able to offer support to the Ukrainian Gene Bank together with a group of donors that includes FAO, Norgen, and other countries.
So Sandra, I know that plant breeders, they very much rely on genetic diversity, and they need that access that we talked about earlier. How are the plant breeders benefiting from your work?
I think that the plant breeders especially benefit from participation in those European evaluation networks that I mentioned earlier. We have been starting those in 2019 with the generous support of the German government. We currently run 5 crop-specific evaluation networks. They work on wheat and barley, maize, carrot, lettuce, and pepper. And these are public-private partnerships that jointly evaluate underused genetic resources from held in European gene banks. Our networks have currently more than 90 partners. These are gene banks, research institutes, and breeding companies ranging in size from small family-run businesses to multinationals. And they jointly evaluate those crop accessions in multi-location field trials across Europe. So our partners, and especially breeding companies, benefit from participating in those networks by gaining access to material that's often very difficult to obtain. And I want to emphasize that all the material exchange within those networks happens according to the international treaty with the SMTA, even for crops that are not part of the multilateral system. But apart from that, also all our partners benefit from the sharing of knowledge and expertise, and of course the large phenotypic data sets that we create. At the moment, we have collected more than 215,000 data points on 4,000 accessions from 150 field trials across Europe. So this is quite a lot of data that we collect in our database. I also want to mention that, of course, all our accessions are genotyped to really unlock the full potential of the data for the breeders. So while we have our partners contributing most of their work in kind to the project, we've received very positive feedback from the breeding companies participating in their networks and the benefits that they receive.
Fantastic. Very important work for the plant breeding community. Thank you so much. And thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.